Evelyn to Philip, V-mail dated September 27th, 1944. My dearest, it's now 4 days since I last had mail. Undoubtedly you were busy having some fun during the holidays, and I'm rather anxious to hear of your activities. My brother Cy sent me a lovely pillowcase, the second one from his ship, the USS New Yorker, that has a lovely inscription to Sister. I owe him a letter and hope to get it off sometime this week. Last night, Shirley, M., the family, and I chatted away till 11:30 when we all decided it was high time we got to bed. I can't remember anything worth mentioning about the whole conversation. You know how it is when several girls get to talking, clothes, husbands, babies, food, habits, etc. This morning I had another picnic getting up and didn't actually get out of bed till 8:15. That is, I got out to stay. Adele woke me at 5:15 to take her to the bathroom, and I made her go back to sleep. We each had breakfast. No, I'm not fasting, and I dressed us both. I headed for Faye's house and stayed only a few minutes as she and her mother were headed for the synagogue. I then decided to take a walk up to Myra's to kill the morning. The only one home was Dot, so I chatted with her for about an hour and started home. There is great hope that Myra's brother will walk again. Slowly but surely, all his feeling is coming back. He now sits in a wheelchair and uses his hands. His girlfriend has stuck to the guns, and I think that had a lot to do with his recuperating. Adele had lunch and went straight away to sleep. I ate lunch, undressed, showered, washed some clothes, and dyed some silk stockings. Mr. Bellet had 5 pairs of heavier stockings of silk in an almost white shade laying about. He used to sell them and asked me if I wanted them. Once Gloria dyed some stockings another color and had left the dye in the medicine chest. I decided to take the stockings and dye them, which is exactly what I did. They came out very nice and will come in very handy. No, I'm not going to have any use out of them because they are too small for me, but Mom will. After all, silk stockings are unattainable these days, not to mention the price we could get for them. All of which brings me right up to date. Adele woke a little while ago and I dressed her. Ruth has her out riding in the walker so that I can finish this before supper and have the evening to myself. I've been getting to bed too late these past few days and mean to get to bed early tonight. I always say I will, but never do. The weather is very spring-like, sunny and bright today, and a welcome change from the freezing weather we've been having. Wish you were here so that we could take a stroll through Hunting Park with Adele. I, by the way, am wearing my suit again. Boy, do I need some dresses, and I mean to get them soon. Baby mine, I hope so much that next Yom Kippur will find us together forevermore. Your Ev. Philip to Evelyn, 27 September 1944. Dearest, darling, sweetheart, excuse the exuberance of the salutation. It's just the mood I'm in. Not that I don't mean it, baby. I do, and how. The reason? Oh yes, the reason. Well, it may sound a little silly to you, but I just saw a pretty good musical film at the Base Theater. Then, riding back on a moonlit road, fresh by the grace of a recent rain, the bicycle rolling swiftly down grade of its own accord, and a half moon turning everything silver, I felt exhilarated. Very much so. So before the mood leaves me, I wanted to get something of it down on paper. If my levity does not strike a responsive chord in you, well, I'm sorry, sweet. At any rate, bear with me while I relate the latest doings of your loving hubby. Will ya, honey, huh? I worked steadily today with the intention of cleaning up all the things that have been hanging fire these past few weeks. For the first time in months, I am caught up, and it's a wonderful feeling. No kiddin'. Then, to make it perfectly perfect day, 3 of your letters arrived at once. They were your letters of the 8th and 10th September and your V-mail of the 18th. Among other things, yours of the 8th advised me that you were wearing the 8th Air Force insignia when you took those snaps, but I'll be hanged if I can see it in any of them. You say your appetite indeed, has picked page 2 up, and that you expect to put on all those pounds I seem to have lost, quote, just like a woman. Who do you think you're kidding with that seam business? You know darn well you are 6 pounds lighter than you have any right to be. When you hit the scales at 119 again, I'll be satisfied, not before. What's all the mystery about the pumpkin's table and chair set? And why don't you tell me about it now? You write about the fire with every intention of convincing me you were very frightened, and then you neglect to tell me what the final damage was. Then you say, even she, Adele, began to cry. Does that mean that Mom and you were also crying? It certainly sounds like it. Anyhow, sweet, I'm glad that it wasn't worse than it was, whatever it was, and that nobody was hurt by it. You're a funny chippy, sweet. Listen to this last paragraph of yours. Quote, gosh, honey, I could go on for hours talking about Adele and things I want to do, etc. I saw a gorgeous pair of vanity lamps, crystal bases with Dubonnet shades, and priced them only to find that the pair cost $26, and we hesitated to spend $22, remember? Oh, Phil, darling, what I wouldn't give to be able to take you in my arms, etc., and so on, end quote. What a conglomeration. And since when did a pair of vanity lamps, however attractive, have the power to move you to expressions of love and longing? Where's the connection? And where does the pumpkin come into it? Page 3. Someday, honey, I may get an inkling of how your mind works, but right now I must confess it beats me. The V-mail advised me that you had finally sent off the package of bottles, nipples, etc. I was very glad to learn that, baby. But what's the idea of cutting down on my candy ration? You're a hard woman, McGee. I just have enough time left to dash over to my hut to get those patterns I promised to enclose today. Hope you like them, sweet. Am I asking too much when I suggest you make a couple of them? I think it's high time you made something for yourself for a change. Good night, my lovely. Tonight I'm missing you very, very much. That's because I love you so. A kiss and a hug from my lass. My love to all. Ever your Phil.